outdoors, at home with my parents. My parents made sure myself and my 2 younger siblings were raised in the faith. We all went to Catholic elementary school, then later were sent to the public high school and weekly religious education. In addition to opening my eyes to the faith, this weekly religion class provided me with so many great retreat opportunities that really allowed me to make the faith my own. Additionally, these retreats also helped me to discover God's will for my life. I first felt the call to the priesthood when watching the ironically named CNN documentary Called to the Collar, featuring Randy Kenneschnick's brothers, fathers Todd and Gary Kenneschnick. Among the many people interviewed in this documentary, I recognized a guy my age. I didn't know him that well, but I did know him well enough to deduce that he was a pretty cool, respectable, and normal guy. And this cool, respectable, and normal guy my age expressed his openness to the priesthood on national TV. Me also considering myself to be a cool, respectable, and normal individual, decided that if he was open to the priesthood, why aren't I as well? Later that year, in adoration at a Steubenville conference, God asked me to surrender everything to him, including my future plans. Not knowing what would come of this surrender, I said with the help of the Holy Spirit something akin to the words of Father Gitter. What the hell? Later the next day, I would discover the true consequences of that surrender. When the presiding bishop asked all the guys who were open to discerning the priesthood to stand and come forward for a blessing, I jumped up out of my seat, marched up front, and then looking around, realizing what I had done, thought, oh no, what have I done? At this point began my wild foot race against the Lamborghini that is God's call. Needless to say, at this point I lost. The resolution came a year later, almost to the day. I was visiting a parish near my grandparents' cottage. The deacon's homily just happened to be about God's constant and inescapable call for our lives. Sitting in the pew, I began to panic. This homily was meant just for me. I was stunned. The Lamborghini had not only caught me, it slammed into me, pinning me against the brick wall that was my fate. I decided in that moment that I could run no longer. If I ever wanted to be truly happy and holy in my life, I would have to think and pray sincerely about going to the seminary. Although I still didn't want to go, God revealed that seminary was where he wanted me after high school. There was no denying it. A couple of weeks later, I left for another Steubenville conference, this time as a lead participant. Amongst the many graces from the retreat, God brought me joy for the first time in my discernment. Seminary went from being something I dreaded to something I was really excited about. Following this retreat, I contacted my vocation director, joined a discernment group, and began the application process to seminary 6 months later. And all throughout the seminary application process, I feared greatly that if I would make it through, I feared if I would actually make it through seminary to ordination. And upon bringing this to God in prayer at yet another retreat, I was flooded with peace and joy upon hearing God's voice clearly say, "Be my priest." Ever since coming to seminary, I've never felt more alive. It's been a very challenging road, but thanks to God's grace, I wouldn't have it any other way. Praise be Jesus Christ.
Now and forever.